2,977 innocent people died on 9/11. Nothing can express the loss experienced by the families of the victims. One man, however, made several $billion in insurance from the destruction of the World Trade Center. That man is property magnate Larry Silverstein. Known as Lucky Larry, conspiracy theorists believe he was aware of the terrorist attacks before they ever happened. The World Trade Center was publicly owned until July 24, 2001, when Larry Silverstein acquired the leasehold of buildings 1, 2, 4 and 5, including the Twin Towers. The deal gave Silverstein the World Trade Center for 99 years and was worth $3.2 billion. The terms of the lease also meant he was entitled and obliged to rebuild the World Trade Center should the buildings be destroyed. Silverstein immediately drew up new insurance policies for the World Trade Center, with 23 different insurance companies. Together, the policies covered the buildings to the tune of $3.55 billion. Most significantly, Silverstein changed the standard policy on the buildings to include a clause covering the occurrence of a terrorist attack. Just such an attack happened on September 11, 2001, fewer than 2 months after Silverstein took out the new insurance policy. Peculiarly, Silverstein should have been in the Twin Towers when the planes hit. Silverstein ate at the Windows of the World restaurant on the top floors of the North Tower every single morning, except on September the 11th. Silverstein says he had a doctor's appointment instead, but in fact, by his own admission, he never left his house. Furthermore, his 2 children were also due to have separate work meetings in the Twin Towers on September the 11th, but they both were running late and managed to avoid the attacks. In addition, while firefighters battled to save the neighboring Building 7, Silverstein ordered them to pull it, letting the building collapse. In light of all this information, the scholars for 9/11 Truth argue that Silverstein actually had prior knowledge of the terror attacks. Much like the CIA warned the president about an incoming Al-Qaeda attack and had sufficient information to catch the hijackers before their plan was underway, conspiracy theorists believe a man as prominent and successful as Silverstein could have been party to warnings of the September attack. They say Silverstein used his advanced knowledge to seize the opportunity to buy the first private lease on the World Trade Center in order to benefit from the world's biggest insurance scam. For, in the aftermath of 9/11, while the world mourned, Silverstein put in a claim for $7.1 billion in payouts from his insurers, on the basis that there had been 2 separate attacks, and he was therefore entitled to double the $3.55 billion coverage provided by the policy. After a long legal battle lasting several years, Silverstein finally won $4.55 billion from the insurers. The money would be used to rebuild the skyscrapers. Silverstein fulfilled the obligations of his lease and constructed one World Trade Center on the site of the Twin Towers. It cost $3.9 billion and was completed in July 2013. However, as soon as the new building was finished, Silverstein sued the airlines whose planes were hijacked on 9/11 for another $3.5 billion. He claimed that their negligence led to the destruction of the World Trade Center. The judge ruled against him. Silverstein's critics claim he has shamelessly tried to profit from one of the worst human tragedies in history. Conspiracy theorists claim that his profiteering was prompted by prior knowledge of the terrorist attacks. Lucky Larry has denied that he had any awareness of the attacks until they happened. The redevelopment of the whole World Trade Center site has cost around $15 billion. Meanwhile, Silverstein has continued to pay the annual ground rent of $100 million, even while no building stood and no construction took place at ground zero. It's therefore hard to see how he planned to profit from his $7.1 billion insurance claim and his $3.5 billion lawsuit against the airlines, given the total cost of reconstruction was $15 billion, more than the 2 claims combined. Nevertheless, Silverstein's lawsuit against the airlines is still on appeal.